all of our guests today are living what they call their most awesome lives because it wasn't always that way. They say their lives leveled up when they started letting go of fear and learned truly how strong they are. And my first guest was in her 40s. She said she was broke. She was living in a garage. When she asked herself, is this the best I can do? So she started tackling what was holding her back, reframing her mindset and setting new goals for herself. But she said she remained frustrated, searching for a self-help book with the advice that was like straight to the point. Well, Jen Sincero decided to write her own book, a how-to with humor, sass, blunt, bite-sized advice. That was 10 years ago. And today, you are a badass. How to Stop Doubting Your Greatness and Start Living an Awesome Life is a New York Times bestseller. This book has been translated into 40 languages. Millions of fans say that this book helped them really look inside and find the life that they deserve. And now in the 10th anniversary special edition of the book, Jen is reflecting on a decade of helping people find their inner badass. Please welcome to the show best-selling author, motivational speaker, badass success coach, Jen Sincero. Come on out, Jen. Congratulations, Jen. How are you? Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Welcome. I have to tell you, the word in the book title alone indicates you just were like, I don't care, I'm gonna write what I feel.
Exactly, why not?
Why not? Well, congratulations, 10
Thanks.
years. Is it like a child where they say it goes so fast, you can't believe the impact?
Absolutely, and I kind of feel like I had a baby and put it out in the world and it had this whole life independent of me, so it's kind of a good analogy.
Well, in this case, your baby and the legacy has gone on to help so many people. Take me back, though, to that time where you were looking for, because I'm a self-help junkie. I mean, I miss traditional bookstores because I was the person going through every aisle of every self-help book looking for something that was going to help me figure this thing out called life.
Yeah. I mean, I was a train wreck myself when I came up with the idea because I read every self-help book under the sun, too. I would be walking around weeping in the self-help section, probably right next to you. Anybody else in the self-help crying? Yes, right? Yeah. So, yeah, and then I was a writer anyway, so I was like, I could write one of these.
Oh, well, okay, that sounds like a great story to tell on a talk show. But in reality, I don't know how one goes from, okay, I'm broke, I'm trying to find the answer to, I can write one of these. Was that always a part of your personality, the can-do part? I don't know, I would have jumped to that conclusion that I could do it myself.
You know, I think what it was is I read every book under the sun, and so many amazing things were out there, but none of them were funny.
Yeah.
None of them were edgy, and so that's sort of my voice. And I was like, that needs to happen because I felt like it would welcome in so many more people who were like me, who were very like, it's so gooey, and self-help is for like woo-woo people, which I totally am now, self-proclaimed. But yeah, I wanted to have a little, to just welcome in a different crowd.
Right, take the edge off, right?
Yeah.
Because it's already serious enough when you say, I'm trying to figure out life.
Right.
And then you're like, well, that's a big one. Can we do this with a smile on our faces?
Yeah.
I love this. Your fans say that, of course, that there are life-saving and life-transformative gems. And at page 44, they say all the stuff we're so worried about creating and fixating on, but is already right here, right now. The money you want already exists. The person you want to meet is already alive. The experience you want to have is available now. Think about that.
Doesn't that make you feel better?
So because you're saying everything you really want is already right there. So I have some friends who are single, and they will say, you're telling me that the person I want to meet is already alive.
I hope so, or else they're going to be awfully young.
They're going to be awfully young, and we don't want to go that tender.
Yeah.
So then is it a manifestation of these things that are already there? What is it?
So it's shifting your focus, right? So this is why your thoughts are so important, because if you're constantly thinking, you know, there's nobody good out there, I stink at relationships, you know, whatever your stories are, we subconsciously want to prove that. Like, we want our reality to stay the same because we feel secure, right? So we pull into our radar proof of that, right? So we're constantly looking at that. When you knock it off with that stuff and you start focusing on what you're grateful for and the places where you have had successful relationships, then you start pulling that focus in more. I actually have a really cool exercise if you want me to do that.
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so
Here we go.
this is how focus works. So I want everybody to look around the room and notice everything that's pink. Okay, just take like 2 seconds and look around and notice all the pink.
Well,
Okay, now close your eyes and think about everything that's yellow in this room. Right? You don't even see it. You can open your eyes.
Oh.
We're going to spend the rest of the show with your eyes closed. Yeah, so you don't even see it, but it's there.
You don't even see it,
For
but
example.
it's there. Right. And how do we apply that in our daily lives? What is that supposed to remind us of in our daily life?
To be aware of what you're thinking about and what you're focusing on, because that's how you change your entire reality. It's so simple sounding,
Right.
but your thoughts and your focus create your reality.
10 years ago, though, how did you stumble upon that? As we said, there's no shortage of self-help books. I'll start with the first one I read. It's called the Bible. To me, that's a self-help book.
Totally.
So there's no shortage of positive advice, affirmations,
Right.
that it's in you. One of my favorite movies, Wizard of Oz. Dorothy Gale. You were always there, Dorothy. You weren't in Oz. You were always home.
Right.
So there are always images and ideas of it's always there.
Right.
But what was it about your book 10 years ago or your mind that tapped into something that's been translated into 44 different languages?
I wish I knew. I keep doing it. I think it was the new voice. I really do. I think what happened was it was relatable. Like I'm so not a guru. Like I talk about all the many ways that I screwed it up. And I did it for 40 years. Like I was living in a garage in an alley when I was in my 40s. So I really felt like if I could get my act together, anybody else can. And I think people really sort of related to that, you know. And that's why I was so inspired to write the book. I was like, you guys, you got to check this out. Because if I can do it, seriously.
Wow.
Yeah.
Coming up, members of the Tam Fam share how Jen helped them discover their inner badass. And I want to know, what does it mean to be a badass? After the break.
When I first picked up your book, I wasn't in the best place in my life.
I was the queen of making excuses and standing in my own way.
I was looking for something different in my life, and your book showed me possibility.
If you fast forward to today, I'm a successful litigation attorney, sought after speaker. I think it all really started with one single person told me that I was a badass, and that person was you.
I started reading this book and started taking risks to live the life of my dreams.
It brought me back to my creative self. I started songwriting again, and I dove deeper into meditation. It really showed me that life could be more.
Welcome back. That was some of the millions of fans of New York Times bestselling author Jen Sincero and her self-help book that really changed the lives of a lot of people. I would imagine that's a lot of pressure, that people say this book put them on the right track in life. How do you process it? Because you're not a guru, you don't purport to be, you're not a savior, no one is, but the book helped people.
I'm just so happy it did. Like, I'm honestly kind of amazed. I really am.
Do you feel pressure?
I don't. I don't know why.
Because I would be like, I can't save you. But that's an interesting thing. I think maybe because you were just presenting your life as it was, and if it could help people, great, and it has.
Exactly, and I sort of come from the place, as long as I tell the truth, I'm good. So that's
I like
sort of
that.
takes the pressure
Now,
off.
at the time you were writing the book, you were living on a farm?
Yeah.
You moved to a farm?
Yeah, I got this incredible, it's a long story how I got it, but it was on this 17 acres, and there were these 2 goats and this horse that I had to take care of in order to live there, and I got to stay there for free, and it was like a magical
So you
place.
were like the working hand on the farm.
Well, I just had to like let them out in the morning and give them some hay. Wasn't that big a deal.
You posted a video on Instagram, I guess it was last week, of your life on the farm. Let's look at it.
Yeah.
So I'm on this farm outside of a city in California that a bunch of my friends live in. So, oh, don't eat my hair. This is not working out very well. Look at that. Like waking up to that.
I love it. Despite the horse being the star of that video, you say that the goats inspired a lesson.
Oh, yes, they did. Anybody have goats?
No.
Not a big thing in New York City to have goats, but no, they broke into the house one day and they got trapped inside for 5 hours. And this is what the takeaway was for me. I was like, they did such a thorough job of destroying everything. They even jumped. They pooped on everything, they broke everything, and they jumped up and down and knocked all the paintings off the wall. I was like, I wish I was that
What was
thorough.
the lesson there? Get a better lock on the door?
Yeah, exactly. To be good at what you're good at, and also to believe in the impossible dream. I mean, they tried to get into that house for months before they finally did, but they never gave up.
They never gave up, and they were good at being goats.
Yes, exactly.
I love that. See, you end the chapters, almost every chapter you end with a list of how to do something. One of them is how to stop procrastinating, how to forgive. The last item of everyone's list is, though, love yourself.
Right.
Why is that?
Because when you really love and accept yourself, then you let your authenticity out. If you're not trying to shape yourself to meet everybody else's approval, and then you have the power. Like if you are, it's telling the truth, right? So if you're brave enough to tell the truth about who you really are because you accept yourself, then you meet your real people. You meet your real tribe. You attract things to you that are meant to be for you because you're in your authenticity and you're happier.
Yeah.
Right? It's exhausting trying to put on a show. And then if you let everybody else define who you are, then they change their minds.
Right.
And you're like, now what?
And you become putty in their hands.
Yeah, you give them all your power.
You give them all your power. So going back to the core question, though, what is a badass? And why does that word, I mean, do you understand? I had to lobby to even be able to say it on TV. They're like, oh, yeah. They're like, the lawyers are on the phone. And I'm like, but it's the title of the book. It's in the book, attorneys, for my show.
Well, thank you for having me on, taking the risk.
What is it about that word that sends tremors through people?
Right? I would love to know. I mean, that's the easiest word in that book. I mean, where that came from, lawyers. Well, I really wanted the title to say that I see you, and I know you see you too. Like, I know that you know deep down, maybe it's really buried beneath a lot of limiting beliefs or whatever, but you know.
You know you are.
Badass. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah,
I love that. Jen, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
We are so happy you were able to come on our show. The 10th anniversary special edition of You Are a Badass, How to Stop Doubting Your Greatness and Start Living an Awesome Life, is out now. And guess what? All my badasses in the audience getting a copy of Jen's phenomenal and transformational book. Thank you, my dear.
Thank you
You're
so
phenomenal
much.
guest.
You are
Thank you so
amazing.
much. Thank